She's going to share a little bit of her story, but it's really going to be the mayor and the mic. She's going to pass the mic. We're going to have a full community engagement experience. So, is everybody going to participate? Yeah. Y'all have some questions I want to ask the mayor? Well, this is your opportunity to do that as a whole community. So I want you to come. And so to get this party started, I want to just first off thank you to all the volunteers together, the whole team, the staff, the volunteers who will make this happen as a whole community. We're going to have some trivia questions that we're going to put out there. We got questions coming in from folks on Facebook and
act like I'm working with young people today because I do youth development. So, Oakland, I'm fired up. You fired up? Yeah. I don't believe you. East Oakland, I'm fired up. You fired up? Yeah. So, my name's Dwayne Akins, Executive Director, co-founder of We Lead Ours nonprofit organization. We're based in Oakland, California, which I'm so excited about. I'm an Oakland native, E. Morris Cox alum, Amherst alum, Castlemont, then Oakland Tech, then Xavier University of Louisiana. Yeah, and, you know, at first, when I was first coming back to Oakland, I wasn't coming back to Oakland. I was in New Orleans. I just graduated. Hurricane Katrina sent me home. And, you know, I was still going to go back. And then I got a job teaching physical education out of Sin through Perks. And it was there where I started learning everything that was going on in the city of Oakland and thinking about my experience growing up here and my experience going through college and coming back, realizing what I lacked. And I was like, you know, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be a therapist. I want to start my own nonprofit. So I started a nonprofit with $500. Yeah. And 12 years, we're still standing. And I just can't go by without saying that Arroyo Park kicked off my first summer camp. Yeah. Me and my kids in 2009, we would meet 14 deep at the basketball courts, and we'll start here and do some exercise, and then we'll go explore the city of Oakland. And then I started hearing this young lady named Libby Schaaf name. She was doing a lot of work in city council moves, getting those libraries and stuff, fighting for education. And then she started running for mayor. And that's when I met her here once I became the adopt a spot agent for Arroyo Park. And I remember Libby's staff, I think it was Jose Corona time. Jose Corona now rocking out doing great work with Eat, Learn, Play. He hit me up and was like, we want to come hang out with you on Earth Day. And so me and Mayor Libby Schaaf, we walked this park. We discussed education. We discussed community. We discussed all the things and the tools that we needed for this city to be a thriving place for youth development. And so with that being said, it's always an honor to put up with Libby, listen to her perspective. She listened to my perspective. She gave me great insight and understanding of things that I have no idea because I'm coming with this community energy. And so she gives me the game, the knowledge, so that I can be able to corral my community, get them excited, get them motivated to participate in things like this. So today I'm deeply honored to be standing in front of you all as a deep East Oakland, not even Bancroft alumni. I say alumni, I'm not even Bancroft. And at 40 years old, standing in front of my community, about to introduce mayor and to allow the community to come together. And I want us to think about succession planning tonight. I recognize that there's some things that hurt. We got band-aids on top of wounds, but we have to be solution-based. We have to be really committed to the process of thinking as a community. It is so beautiful to see such an inclusive community coming together today because they say we the most in the United States. I'm looking right out it. And so we're going to do, let's put one hand up. Everybody put one hand up. Let's put the other hand up. Let's give our mayor and my friend Libby Schaaf a round of applause.
You should see him. Those young people. For coming out tonight. There are a lot of things that I think we love about Oakland, that drive us crazy about Oakland. But look how beautiful this is. Look at this beautiful park, this theater. It really is a beautiful gem in East Oakland. So thank you for coming out and sharing this beauty with us tonight. I do want to recognize we have a number of elected officials in the audience. So I want you to stand up and wave or come down here if you want to wave. We have school board member Kira Mangia. Kira. With her cute dog Noodle. We have the District 6 member Lauren Taylor. You didn't get the memo that this was casual. We have the District 7 council member. Thank you for having us in your home, Miss Treva Reed. Oh, sorry. Oh, God. Oh, I'm in trouble. All right. Thank you for having us in your home, Councilmember Taylor. We're close to your home, Councilmember Reed. I was expecting Councilmember Carol Fife from District 3. I don't know if she has arrived yet. She's a representative. Oh, she has a representative here. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Fife's office. We also have from Supervisor Nate Miley's office, Aaron Armstrong. That is the county government. Oh, wow. We're the city. They're the county. And then we also have Peralta College trustee Kevin Jenkins. You also live in this area here. Well, listen, I'm just going to give some brief remarks because I really want to hear your questions. And it doesn't just have to be a question. If you have something like on your heart, on your mind that you want to share, this is your opportunity. It has been such a deep honor to serve as your mayor for 8 years. You know, this is my hometown. I am born and raised in this city. And I know that these have been some really hard years for Oakland, right? And so I just want to say, like, please bring all your feelings about how you're feeling about this city in this moment. Because I have those feelings too. You know, as an Oakland native, when I drive by one of our elders sleeping on the streets, it kills me. It pains me. When I see trash on the street, anybody who's ever worked with me knows that I will generally pick it up. If you're not parked right, I like say something. I busted someone this morning. But like, I love this city. I want it to look beautiful. I want our children to feel honored and safe. I want everyone to feel the pride that I feel of being from Oakland. And I just want to recognize that we're in a moment right now where I don't think people are feeling that right now. But when I think about my own childhood and ask myself, like, how is it that I fell so deeply in love with this community? What is it about Oakland that makes you keep falling in love with her over and over? It's something about the history of this place, our legacy as a city that always fights for what's right, that always fights for a better community, whether it's birthing the Black Panthers or standing up to Donald Trump and not letting him come for our community. We did that together. It's also being of service, having this sense that every person in this city is my neighbor, is my family member. And when I try and think about where did that feeling come from, I have to confess it was from Girl Scouts. You know, when I was a really little kid, I joined the Girl Scouts, and I remember singing Christmas carols at Oak Knoll Naval Hospital. for elderly people that were in the hospital. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember when Oak Knoll Hospital was still there before there was a big housing project there. I remember going to pick up trash. I remember going later when my mom and I started something called Oakland Cares, with one of the very first Lend a Hand Foundation backpack giveaways. And I got to join them again just yesterday, giving out backpacks on the first day of school. And so I hope that while everyone has full entitlement to voice your pain and your frustration, I know for me, what has often healed that frustration is getting to work. And it also is the best way to meet the best people, because the best people in the world are right here in Oakland, California. They work together and they are getting things done in beautiful, heroic ways. We definitely saw that during the pandemic. So that's what I hope for us tonight, that not only do we get questions answered, we feel heard by our government, but I am going to also ask that everyone tries to rededicate themselves to being part of the solution, to claiming that agency and that power that we each have to actually make this community better. And there are some postcards. Justin, you want to Vanna White some postcards? Maybe we can pass them out. We have some young people helping out today. Be nice to my interns. There's some beautiful young people here today. Look, can we have an applause for our interns? Yeah. All right, they're ready. So with that, I want to open up the mic. We've got some people that are going to run the mic around so you don't have to get up or stand in a line. We want to hear from you. What's on your mind? What are your questions? And if I can't answer it, we've got a lot of city staff here that can also solve your problem on the spot. Ma'am, and if you feel comfortable, please introduce yourself and share your name so everyone else, because we're a family here tonight.
Hi.
Hi.
Don't talk too loud. I talk really loud. I probably don't need a mic. But anyway, my name is Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
I live on 68th Avenue. From East Oakland. I've been living here since I was 10 years old. And my question that I'm going to ask you right now has to do with something I've been thinking a lot about, because one of the things that I like to do, people around my neighborhood know me for, is pick up trash. I have 2 dogs. I walk them every day. And as I'm walking my dogs, I pick up the trash around Bancroft. And I am quite disgusted by the amount of fast food trash that we seem to be drowning in. I know that I have a lot of unhoused, unsheltered neighbors, and I know that they don't have a lot of choices for food. And I know that the fast food industry is basically one of their only options. And so there's a lot of Taco Bell trash. All score. And start looking into this, because like you said, I'd like to be solution oriented. A great idea would be if we had some sort of tax or some kind of fee that they would pay to help clean up the neighborhood. And I found that we actually do. And in 2006, this excess litter fee ordinance was passed, and you're collecting fees from restaurants and from convenience markets in order to address the trash. And it says the purpose of the ordinance is to maintain safety and sanitary streets, sidewalks, public spaces, and to address the business known for generating particularly high amounts of disposable material, like Taco Bell. So what's happening with Taco Bell's taxes, and why still all the trash? I'd like to know exactly where these taxes are going and what the plan is. If ever I see them picking up, I only see them picking up in their own little
like the radius around them.
They need to get out into the neighborhood. Their trash is everywhere, from 73rd all the way to 68th. Their trash is all over the place. Taco Bell, Burger King, everyone. And my my taco trucks picking up all of that stuff, all of that plastic trash. And so I'm just wondering, since money is being collected, What is the plan and how is it being used thus far? Why don't we have more garbage cans around the area on the public sidewalks where these places are? There's one garbage can between 68th and 73rd. What's up with that?
All right, thank you. So first of all, we can put in a request for an additional garbage can. One limitation is the city has to send people to then service that garbage can, but neighborhoods have put in those requests before. And first of all, let me thank you, and maybe we can all give her a round of applause for picking up trash in her neighborhood. That is awesome.
I live there.
And if you would like to be like part of like a recognized group and get free bags and free grabbers, if you need any of that, you could also register as having adopted a spot. And for those of you who want to get access to free garbage bags, and it also allows you to like leave them on the corner and get them picked up instead of you having to figure out where to dispose of them, and also grabbers in case some of us, can't quite bend down the way we used to. You can register for Adopt a Spot. In fact, it's one of the suggested actions on our little postcard. And there's also a table back there. Who's the best table to go to for Adopt a Spot?
So about the fees.
All right, back there. She's way under the tree right there. Now, the next thing is, I don't know if you're going to know the answer to exactly how the excess litter fee is being spent, but she is the most likely person to know the answer to that. And if you want to get involved in looking at ways that, she's waving her arms right there. If you want to get involved with ways that we can also look at making better use, can I also share one more thing specifically about Taco Bell? We could use your observations about where trash is being generated. We're really trying to be more strategic and intercept trash before it happens. And I want to recognize a group called Literati that actually noticed that there were a ton of Taco Bell sauce, the taco sauce packages, that those were everywhere. And they actually got Taco Bell to change their policy of not giving people a package of sauce unless they asked for it. And that actually did have an impact on reducing the sauce packet litter. So thank you. I see she's back there already getting her question answered. So that's what we're here to do, answer people's questions, respond in the moment. Anyone else with a question, comment? Mr. Monty. Can someone bring Monty the mic?
I actually don't need it. I'm Lamonte with Wood Street Community Commons. And I kind of just want to piggyback on the litter, the garbage. I've been out there for 7 years, and for 7 years we've been asking for dumpsters and proper receptacles for their trash. It seems as if it's all been picked up and moved off of every block from just in Oakland, period. There aren't any receptacles to put our trash in. So, like her, I pick up garbage throughout Oakland, not just in my community, but wherever I see it, because this is my planet. Even though this is the city I live in, this is my home, this is my planet as well. So I pick up garbage everywhere. And by the time I get home, I have this big giant bag of everyone's garbage because there's no proper receptacles placed anywhere. So I would like to know, are they ever coming back?
Thank you for that question. I often find myself saying, like, government is really frustrating. And I want to recognize that one of the frustrations of government is the different layers of government. You're talking to the head of the city. We have a representative here from the county government. Then there's the state of California government. Then there's the federal government. And a lot of the Wood Street encampment is on the state of California property. So the Caltrans owned property, where that is not the city's property. Now, we have provided trash service at, where's Daniel Cooper? I think it's about 46 different encampments across the city. That's the right number, I think, roughly. As well as porta potty services. You see porta potties out on some of our sidewalks. So we are actually paying to have those porta potties there to try and address people's immediate needs. And I'm telling you, we know this is not enough. But in the last few years, we have tripled the number of shelter beds, and we have revolutionized how we do shelter in Oakland, moving away from what I believe is kind of undignified congregate shelter and into the cabin communities, into more transitional housing. And during COVID, we even had hotel rooms. So my understanding is for the Wood Street residents that are on the city property, they have been offered access to our cabin communities and even to hotel rooms. We do need to clean that area. We need to make sure cars can drive safely. And we are preparing a lot for another cabin community, as well as an expansion of a safe RV lot. The last thing I will also share with people is Oakland was one of the first cities to change the law to allow private property to have RVs or tiny homes or homes on wheels actually on your private property. And so we are hoping that some people are going to step forward and help create some little communities on private property to really accommodate what has been, I think, the worst tragedy in California, and that is our housing crisis. And so I am sorry that we have not been able to house everyone who is not currently housed. But that is some of what we are doing to try and address it. The last thing I will also say about Wood Street is that was our number one spot. Like, turn off the TV camera because this is going to ruin it if people know about this. But we actually are doing our very first sting operation to try and catch people that are doing illegal dumping at that location. Because that's another thing that really adds insult to injury, that people are dumping their trash where our unhoused live. And that is just horrible. So we actually are trying to catch whoever is doing that.
My question really was more not about the housing situation. That's a whole different question. My question was about the
proper receptacles within the city, like everywhere. They're just not there. I didn't ask for the homeless thing.
Like I said, for Wood Street, my understanding is we do have a city garbage collection, but only on the part of the encampment that is on city property. And that we have provided a garbage service and porta potties for roughly 46 encampments. And that's not enough. That's not all of them. That's not all of them. I want to acknowledge that.
I meant proper receptacles throughout the city, not just on Wood Street. I go throughout Oakland everywhere.
So you're just saying we need more garbage everywhere.
Anywhere. There's none anywhere. Not just on Wood Street. I mean anywhere.
There are public garbage cans. I hear what you're saying, that they're not enough. And that's what I'm hearing a request for. More public garbage cans. That is what I'm hearing. I will take that back. Sure. Yes. Oh, wait. We have one back there, and then we're going to come back to you. And then we have one over there, too. Okay.
Good day, Senorina. First, there's a reason I wrote this quote, and it's just to make certain things aware. Do not let your ignorance be the captivated impression of your behavior, because it will become normal. And one of my problems is the actual traffic and the behavior of the traffic that we have in Oakland. And it also caused a lot of accidents. A lot of people are getting hurt or killed along the way. And it's this central via for the buses. But a lot of people are driving through it like it's out of bounds. Okay? And we need to really do a study on the impact. We do these changes, but we really have to do an in-depth study to try to change and curtail the behavior. Not that they don't care, but it's because they are unconscious of this monkey see, monkey do mentality in our society. And this is it's home to me, because I have a nephew that's in jail, and he killed 2 and hurt 1 over there by Foothill, I think was 23rd, and he's in for that. So it's not only hitting me close, but other families are losing their children and other members because of the traffic and what it's causing by the cones and all these other things that they've created in the city.
I'm so sorry for that harm to your family. I want to encourage you to share with us the locations where you're experiencing this bad behavior. And I want to share a story that I hope you'll find inspirational. For so many years, and one elected official that we did not introduce is Gene Walsh, is on the AC Transit Board. I know you're here with another hat, but we do have an AC Transit Board member here. So I'm gonna both call you out and compliment you. Don't worry, we'll get there. For years, we were told that we could not put speed bumps on the main streets in Oakland because if it was a bus route, it was also being depended upon for quick ambulance response and firefighter response. So for years, we never would even entertain a speed bump on one of those streets. And there was a terrible tragedy of a beautiful young man who lost his life hit by a car on a bicycle on 35th Avenue. And his family just said, you've got to figure out a way. Like, please, in the memory of our son. And so Oakland actually invented something that has never existed anywhere else. It's called the Oakland Speed Cushion. And it actually has anyone ever driven over it on 35th? It's a speed bump, but it has two tracks in it that are the width for an AC Transit bus or an ambulance or a fire truck, but is too wide for a regular car to actually hit. And so because of a voice like yours that insisted on a yes answer and not a no answer, we've invented something new thanks to that family. So please share with us the streets that you're seeing this. There are ways to calm traffic. There are ways to make people drive slower. It's called, traffic calming, whether it's trees in the medians or things that make people drive in straight lines. Those things actually do have an impact. So please bring us that information and we will do our best to put interventions in the places that you're talking about. Thank you.
We have Director Duffy to answer the previous question.
Oh, okay.
Good evening. My name is G. Harold Duffy. I'm the Public Works Director for the City of Oakland. There are about 1,400 litter cans throughout the City of Oakland. We can add about 50 of those cans every year. We have waste management picking up those cans every morning. We do note that sometimes the service isn't what it should be, so we are working with them on that. And one of the other things to remember, too, I don't know if you guys remember this, but before the pandemic, there used to be litter cans throughout all businesses, but during the pandemic, they shut down on some of that. So we are seeing a lack of trash containers in certain areas. But so just to answer the question, there's 1,400 cans that are currently out there throughout the city of Oakland. There is a method and a process to ask for additional containers. One of the things you can do is you can call Oak 311 and make the suggestion that there be a container at this location throughout the city. But we have those containers out there. We do know that there's service, but they're not the service level that we'd like them to be. But those cans are out there.
Please give us the places that you think we need to have them, because give us actual intersections.
Where those 1,400 trash cans are, where you can walk. We're not dumb. The 12 of us that are actually from East Oakland that showed up here tonight, we know what the rest of the city looks like, and we know what neglect looks like. And you're out here with the dog and pony show. It's excuses. It's been 8 years of excuses. So maybe we can hear from someone else who has an idea of how to govern effectively from the top. To not point fingers. You want to talk about race and equity. You want to talk about a white supremacist patriarch. White supremacist patriarchy is how you've treated East Oakland for the last 8 years. White supremacist patriarchy is the reason nobody saw the flyer showed up today. And isn't going to show up on Thursday. But probably is going to show up tomorrow in your neck of the woods. To pat you on the back and listen to your excuses.
Well, listen, I want to honor and appreciate your anger and frustration. I do. And we have lots of data.
$1 billion a year. We're not dumb. We're not a small city. We're not Leslie Knope. This is a major city. Come on. joke.
If he would like the mic, we'll give him a mic. Absolutely.
Give him the mic.
People at the end probably
He doesn't want the mic.
I got nothing else to say. It's an hour to fill. It's here from community. Am I wrong?
So
Tell me I'm wrong.
so you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And what I will say in Oakland is that we have a Department of Race and Equity that has started to quantify, that is doing the analytics to actually show where all that neglect absolutely has been for years and years and years. And then to create policies to start to reverse it. And it is true that in 8 years, I have not been successful at reversing 200 years of racism and systemic failure in this city. That is absolutely true. But what I can say is that I have put some incredible people in place, some systems, and been honest about talking about systemic racism and its impacts and what that history looks like, but also what a path out looks like. So you have every right to be angry. What you are talking about is absolutely true. It is demonstrated in black and white in all of our data. All I can say is that now we have a policy. When we pave our roads, we actually take into account how we distribute those resources based on racial equity, economic equity issues, impacts. So in the amount of paving that we've done in the last 6 years, the vast majority of that spending has gone to East Oakland. Now, has it made up for the years and decades of disinvestment and neglect? It has not yet made up. But our belief is if we continue to follow these policies, then we will make up for it. And again, we have like a map that shows where the paving has been for these last few years, so it's documented. You can look on the list to see if your street is coming up next. And that's the same thing we've done with the capital improvement project. All the capital improvement projects that are funded, they get prioritized based on where they are in the city, recognizing that we have underinvested for years in East Oakland. And so I honor your anger, and I can just tell you that there are some things in place. And I know this is really not going to make you feel better, but I still have to share it. It's not. One thing that is weird about being the mayor of Oakland is I get asked to speak all over the country about what we are doing in this city. And I know when you are here, you feel angry and frustrated that things are not what they should be. And that's the same way I feel. And we are being recognized by other cities that have the same struggles, the same problems, the same impacts from systemic racism, but actually are somewhat inspired by some of the things that we are doing, the steps that we are taking. I literally was just in Tacoma, Washington 4 days ago. I was invited to speak on operationalizing racial equity in city work. So I know that doesn't make you feel better, but if it makes you feel any better, the rest of the country is actually worse and has even fewer ideas than we have. And then I do want to recognize, I believe our director of race and equity is actually here. Okay. Hi. This is our fabulous director of racial equity, and you two can also connect about what we are doing. Thanks. Wait, I gotta follow the mic, but we have another.
Test. Hi, my name is Joel Velasquez. Hi, Libby.
Oh, you were my neighbor.
I was her neighbor.
You lived right underneath me.
For a very long time before all of this.
I hope I didn't dance too hard on that floor.
I hope my kids didn't dance too hard below. So, my name is Joel Velasquez. I'm a father. Nice to see you, Libby. My youngest daughter here, you probably wouldn't recognize because she's 14. And as a resident for 30 years here in Oakland, D6 for almost a decade. I have some hard questions for you. So I just want to be transparent. And for the crowd, big applause to the questions and for you guys showing out today. I am running for D6 school board. So I wanted to say that first in case you guys think I'm really biased. But hopefully I'm just speaking from my heart because this is my town. This is my family. All of you. You are my communities. And I'm really, really confused right now. I've been witnessing something for the last 2 decades since the little kids that you've seen growing up in our apartment. And I have a multi-part related to education, obviously. You made a statement earlier when you introduced Kyra as the elected official, and I have to tell everybody that's listening today, that's not correct. She was appointed. So that's a little deceiving. And Kyra's here. And she's also, endorsed her. So I don't want to make this about me, but I just want to be clear for the people that are listening and here today. You had 4 votes on the school board, not from the district, not from Oakland. So let's be clear about that. The second piece of that, there was an incident at Parker, which a lot of you in D6 know that there was a liberation because of school closures. And this is a segue to the other part of this question. How are you going to hold OUSD accountable after a George Floyd resolution, after beating up a D2 candidate father from La Escuelita inside by a security firm that was hired by OUSD? Respectfully, Kyra, you're a really nice person, but she hasn't reached out to anyone in D6. The parents called me down there to find out what was going on. And again, we have hired security by OUSD beating up parents and handcuffing them and holding them against their will for almost an hour. The last piece of that, and I really want to get an answer to this. I don't want to dance right now. We know each other, right? We know that we're passionate about this city. That's one thing you and I share. We love this city. And this is emotional for me. But I don't understand why you've been supporting someone like Kyra and yourself charter school practices in a city that has 40 plus charters and is closing schools because we have a deficit. Lakeview Elementary down the street from you, where you and I lived, where my children went to school, closed, and there's a charter school in that space. But the same public funding that was supposed to go to our school is now going to a charter. So there can't be a deficit. I want to know why you're supporting those practices from folks that don't live in Oakland, California, that are getting people like Gary Yee and Kyra elected that don't represent the communities here in Oakland. It has to end. That money needs to stay out of Oakland, and the people from Oakland need to have their voices heard. I think it's a wrong move for you to keep doing that and coming down to OUSD and supporting opening charters when we have an ACLU complaint sitting on Rob Bonta's desk right now around the racist practices of school closures for the last 19 years in Oakland, California. So please, and Kyra, correct me if I'm wrong, you were not elected, you were appointed, correct? So my apologies, Kira. So I just want to make sure that this is not rhetoric, this is facts, and I want everyone at home and everybody here to understand this. And Max Orozco's right here. He was beaten up. Okay? So thank you all. Thank you for being patient. I didn't mean to take the floor for that long. But this is really, really important. When we talk about school closures in Oakland and across the nation, we see the connection with violence. When we pull resources away from our schools and our communities, those kids don't have anything left. So let's wake up, Oakland. Let's wake up the nation and say that schools are critical to our society on all levels. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, first of all, it is awesome to see your beautiful daughter. Really, it really is. We were blessed to live near Lake Merritt for many, many years. Oakland's living room. First of all, I do want to apologize because actually Kira, and you must know how to say her name if you're running against her. It's very Trumpian to come up with like a weird nickname. Kira actually did not want to be introduced because she's actually here tonight in her capacity as the Deputy Director of Education for the Mayor's Office. I also happen to know that she will not have, don't worry, she won't have that job in about 140 more days. And you will all have a different mayor in about 140 days. So that is true. And I happen to know that Kira has taken a very strong position against charter schools in Oakland. We've had that conversation. I think there is nothing more painful than anything that feels like a threat against our children. As a mother, I know there is nothing that brings out my claws, my anger, my sense of justice than feeling like my children or our children are under threat. And so I want to recognize just how painful and emotional and enraging the school closures have been. I also want to recognize that we elected school board members, the ones that we did elect, or the ones that were put there through the process that exists, to try and make decisions that are in the best interests of our children. And as someone who runs the city of Oakland, I can tell you that often those decisions are extremely difficult and they are subject to a lot of laws that are above us, that are above our authority. You know, the city, I like to say, is at the bottom of the dog pile, right? We're subject to the county, subject to the state, subject to the federal government, and that is often an extremely frustrating place to be. So I want to honor those two things, and I also want to respect your passion. I know it comes from a great place, so thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't hear a question in your. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello and thank you. My name is Alistair Monroe.
Hi,
I'm with
Alistair.
the Oakland Cannery, and you blessed my father when I held a 50-year legacy gallery for him at Jack London Square, and that gallery was because most people don't come to East Oakland. There are no more artists left, not enough anyway, with all the